Section 6.5 is titled Solving Proportions. And a proportion is an equation stating that two ratios or rates are equal. And cross products occur when numerators and denominators are multiplied across the proportion. And what we need to remember about cross products is that they are always equal. So let's look at the property of proportions. What the property of proportion states is that the cross products of a proportion are equal. So if we have the proportion A over B equals C over D, then A times D, notice it's the multiplication of the numerator with the denominator across from it, is equal to C times B, again the numerator with the denominator across from it. And vice versa, if AD is equal to CB, then A over B would equal C over D. And in this case, we just need to make sure we state that B and D cannot be 0. So let's solve the proportion. When you solve proportions, we are going to cross multiply and then set the two cross products equal to each other. So first we do B times 90, which is 90B, and we set that equal to 15 times 66, which is 990. And maybe for the first example or two, I'll actually write out how I got that, 15 times 66. So we have 90B equals 990. Well, now we have an equation, and we just need to solve for the variable. So we're going to divide both sides by 90 to get the variable by itself. And 990 divided by 90 is 11. So B equals 11. On number 2, when we cross multiply, it's 3.2 times 36 equals 9 times n, or 9n. 3.2 times 36 is 115.2. That equals 9n. So we divide both sides by 9 to get the variable by itself. And we get 12.8. And you will be able to use a calculator in this section, and probably for the remainder of the year, unless I say otherwise. But yes, a calculator definitely comes in handy in problems with decimals. So a couple more here. We have x over 4 equals 7 over 20. So when we cross multiply, we get 20x, or 20 times x, equals 4 times 7, which is 28. Divide both sides by 20. And you'll see that 28 is not divisible by 20, but we can reduce both of these numbers by 4. 28 divided by 4 is 7. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So we get that x equals 7/5. On number 4, we have 7 over 14 equals C over 12. So when we cross multiply, 7 times 12 is 84. So we get 84 equals 14C. And it doesn't matter if you do 84 equals 14C or 14C equals 84, you'll get the same answer. So we divide both sides by 14. And 84 divided by 14 is 6. So C equals 6. Hopefully you like solving these. I think that they're pretty simple, pretty basic, because they end up being just a one-step equation. So if you'd like, pause the video here, see if you can solve these next two on your own. So we get 6.8 times 50, which is 340, equals 34t. Divide both sides by 34. Hopefully you don't need a calculator for this one. We get t equals 10. On number 6, we have 51m equal to 8.5 times 42, which is 357. And we divide both sides by 51. And we get m equals 7. And hopefully you remember solving proportions. A few of you actually asked about solving proportions back in some of the earlier sections of this chapter, saying that it would be easier, and that is the exact point. When you can set up a proportion, it makes solving problems pretty simple sometimes. So let's look at a case like that. So let's say that the wait time to ride a roller coaster is 20 minutes, and that's when 160 people are in line. So at this rate, how long is the wait time when 220 people are in line? So we're talking about roller coaster wait time, and we have the number of minutes when a certain amount of people are in line. So what you want to make sure that you do is you keep the like parts of this problem together. So we have 120 minutes when we're talking about 160 people. And we need to know how long when 220 people are in line. So if we do minutes over people for our rate, you could do people over minutes, it doesn't matter. Either way, you're going to get the same answer. So we can set up the proportion, 20 over 160. So it's 20 minutes when 160 people are in line. Then we need to know how long, there's our variable because we don't know how long it is, with 220 people. And now we can solve the proportion. So I did minutes over people. You could do people over minutes. It's your choice. So we still want to cross multiply. 20 times 220 is 4,400. Equals 160x, so we divide both sides by 160, and we get that x is 27.5 minutes. Please make sure you're using units when we're working with these story problems. So if there are 220 people in line, we know it's going to take a little longer than the 20 minutes. It will take 27.5. In class, we will work on worksheet 6.5.